Well, good morning and welcome to the Saturday Morning Power Breakfast. I'm so excited to be here with you. I'm going to hopefully share some stuff that will help you along on your journey to the success you're looking for. Today, we're going to cover a few things. Number one, we're going to cover what the 5% Club is. And really, just to give you a backdrop for all these Saturday morning power breakfasts, the goal here is to help you get in the 5% Club. Now, you might say, what's the 5% Club? Well, according to many statistics, the out of 100 people who, at the age of 65, 95% of them are either dead, broke, or still working. So obviously, we want you to be in that 5%. And the goal here today is to give you some information to help you get there. We're going to go into three topics today. Number one, we're going to talk about a definition of success that will fire you up. Number two, we're going to talk about the three-step formula for success. And lastly, we're going to talk about what you need to focus on for success. So let's dig right in. Let's define success. Success is defined by Earl Nightingale as the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. So get this. The moment you take a step toward the success that you want in your life, the moment you take a step towards those worthy ideals or goals that you have in your life, my friend, you are a success. And you may say, well, it doesn't feel like I'm a success right now. How could I possibly be a success? Well, I love what I heard just this morning from Ed Mylett. Ed Mylett was telling a story about a piñata. And he said the piñata, the way it works is you go to a party, you can picture like this kid sitting here and he's hitting a piñata, everyone takes a turn and they whack at it and it seems like nothing's happening. And another kid picks up the stick and he whacks at the piñata. Again, nothing happens. And on and on and on it goes. And suddenly, one kid walks up. He takes that stick. He has determination in his eyes. He goes over to the piñata. And you know what happens? Boom! He hits it. All the candy flies out. Kids swarm in. They grab the candy. And everybody's cheering and everything. Here's the question you have to ask yourself. Did that last kid, was he the one responsible? Was that one whack what led to the success of breaking open that piñata? I submit to you, no. It was the accumulated effects of each of those kids hitting that piñata over and over and over again. We call it the compound effect. Some people call it the slight edge. But it's those little steps over and over a period of time that led to success. Well, my friend, I submit that it's the same way with your goals and dreams. That once you define your goals and dreams, we'll talk a little bit about that in a moment. Once you define your goals and dreams, it's taking those daily steps or sometimes hourly steps that moves you towards those goals. And like the piñata, and you'll remember the piñata story, like the piñata, you're taking wax at it. And your goals and dreams are inside that piñata. And as you take the time and you take those steps to hit that piñata over and over again by doing those consistent actions towards your goals, you will get, in this case, the candy, but you know what I'm talking about, your goals and dreams. So that's what success really is. It's that progressive realization. It's those daily steps. So I'll even submit that even being on this Saturday morning power breakfast and getting some new distinctions that can help you get into that 5% club, well, I believe that you are a success just for being here. But then if you take this information that I'm sharing with you and you put it into action, my goodness, then you're definitely moving towards your goals and dreams. And you're not just a success when you reach those goals and dreams, but my friend, you are a success now. So let's talk about a three-step formula. And I was just listening to Napoleon Hill, and he was talking about this three-step formula. And I tell you, it really comes down to this. You can read all the motivational books. You can go to all the seminars. You can, get all these different ideas and so forth. But the bottom line, end of day, let me tell you, the bottom line, end of day is what it takes to be successful, what it takes to make those things happen, what it takes to move forward towards your goals and dreams is simply, number one, defining what you want. Number two, defining what you want to do to get. What are you willing to do? You know, you may say, well, I don't know what to do. How would I even know? Well, let me tell you something. What happens is, as you decide what you want, and we'll talk later, or maybe another episode about setting those goals specifically. But as you set your goals for what you want and have those things crystallize, guess what? You'll be able to find ideas on how to make that happen. You know, there are people who have achieved what you're looking to achieve. Success leaves clues. So as you learn those distinctions, and that's the reason to be plugged in to personal development, to look at, you know, there's a guy by the name of Peter J. Daniels who says that the key to success is reading a lot of biographies. Why? Because you want to know about their story? Yes. Why? Because in knowing about their story, you get those clues. You get to see what decisions they were making, perhaps what their situation was, what happened, and you can learn from their experience. That's deciding what you're willing to exchange, because you can make a decision. My goodness, if you want to be a championship basketball player, but you found out that in order to be a championship basketball player, you had to wake up every morning at 4 in the morning and shoot baskets for 2 hours, you may say, well, maybe I'm not willing to do that. Then you have two choices. Either you need to, number one, change what you want, change that goal, or you got to buck up and say, listen, I'm going to do what it takes to move towards those goals. So step one, decide what you want. Step two, decide what you're willing to exchange for. Number two, basically, what are you willing to do for it? And then number three, establish your priorities and go to work. Actually put into action. And this is a key one. Establishing your priorities talks about looking at your calendar, looking at your schedule, and determining that what you want is so much a priority that you're willing to make time for it. You're willing to say yes to some things, you're willing to say no to other things in order to get what you want. And once you've made that time for yourself, you make yourself, people say that they have to have a boss. Let me tell you something. If you're using your calendar the way you're supposed to be, your calendar will be your boss. When you put something in that calendar and you start honoring self-promises to actually do what your calendar says to do, my friend, you will be moving, again, towards your goals and dreams. So, before I get into number three, I just wanted to give you some resources, some free resources that you can take advantage of. We have what's called, before I go to those free resources, let me give you the quick encouragement. If you can't figure out what you want, then figure out what you don't want. At the top of this, I talked about the fact that there's 95% who are dead broke and still working at age 65. Perhaps you need to be motivated by a nightmare. Perhaps you need to be motivated by the fact that you don't want to be a part of that 95%. Now, I would rather you be focused on being in the 5% club, but sometimes a person needs to have the idea that, hey, I mean, I have all these goals and dreams, but I know what I don't want. And if that can motivate you towards your goals and dreams, go for it, my friend. So, a resource that we have available for you is the octagonmethod.com. When you go to octagonmethod.com, you're going to see all kinds of resources, actually a free course that will show you how to create additional streams of income. And get this, we talked about establishing priorities. The Octagon Method shows you how to develop additional streams of income in cracks of time. If you're like me, you're super busy, you don't have a lot of time, you know that in this economy there's a need to go forth and create additional source of income. You hear about inflation, you hear about recession, you hear about all these different things going on in the economy. But it's like, okay, so what do I do about that? You see gas prices are, you know, triple what they were a few years ago. Well, my goodness. And you see your utility bills go up. What can you do about it? My friend, the thing you can do about it is by putting some things in action to not have to play with this economy. So the octagonmethod.com, go there, get those resources. They're free right now. Take advantage of that course that will show you how to create multiple sources of income in cracks of time. All right, so let's get to number 3. Number 3 is, what do you need to focus in order to create success? Well, there's a book by Albert E. N. Gray called The Common Denominator of Success. And it's interesting because he went out years and years ago. As a matter of fact, if you go to Amazon to find that book, you'll find it's a very inexpensive book. It's a book I kind of keep on me at all times because it's good to be reminded of this stuff. And what he said is that successful men are influenced by the desire for pleasing results. Failures are influenced by the desire for pleasing methods and are inclined to be satisfied with such results as can be attained by doing things they like to do. Now get this, let me stop there. There's a difference in their focus, right? Successful men, and it obviously applies to women as well, successful people are influenced by the desire for pleasing results. They're looking at that end in mind. They're looking at that goal that we talked about before, that worthy ideal that we talked about before. They're looking at those things, and that's what's influencing them. They're not influenced, as failures are, by the desire for pleasing methods. See, a successful person is looking at being that championship basketball player, while a failure is looking at, I get to sleep in. A failure is saying, maybe tomorrow. Or they're more excited about, isn't there a shortcut? Isn't there a pill I can take? Isn't there something I can do? Can I have somebody else? You see what I'm saying? A failure is more influenced by the methods. They want things to go easy for them, is basically what he's saying. And that's why they don't reach their success. Let me continue on with this quote. The common denominator of success, the secret of every man who has ever been successful, lies in the fact that he formed the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. Now, there's a hidden secret that's in this book that's not talked about right here. And that hidden secret is this. The successful people don't want to do what the failures don't want to do as well. Meaning that they don't want to do it. Successful people don't want to do it either. It's probably something that's a little bit less desirable to do, but they are willing to do it in order to get to their pleasing result. You know, I do stuff in my business and I enjoy helping people. We enjoy helping folks get to the 5% club, you know, and we do it because by bringing value to the marketplace through things like the Octagon Method, what we're doing is we're helping folks accelerate toward their success. And there's something that's intrinsically pleasing about that. But make no mistake, it involves getting out of my comfort zone. It involves being willing to help someone who initially may or may not want the help. Well, if it were easy, if it was like watching one of the old school Marvel movies, I don't want to say the new school because Marvel's kind of letting me down right now, but if it was like, if success was just a matter of watching the old school Marvel movies and one's made like they used to make them, then that's what everyone would do. But you see, it's being willing to learn some new skills. The Octagon Method will teach you some new skills that you can then put into place. Well, that's doing something different. It's your results, your pleasing results that will motivate you in that regard. It's not going to be the fact that you can watch cartoons. No, you may have to learn something. And that's something that successful people are willing to do that failures don't like to do and therefore won't do it. Well, how do you do it if you're a successful person? Well, you get, as the last 2 lines say, you get into the habit of doing things that failures don't like to do. And we know this. It's a journey that you're on in probably some area of your life. It might be that you're trying to lose weight. What are you doing? You have to get in some disciplines in terms of the foods you eat. And there may be some food you want to eat, but you want the result. So rather than being motivated by the pleasing method of eating whatever you want, you're more motivated, or you get more influenced by the desire for the pleasing result, what you're going to look like when you lost that weight. Same thing with getting into the gym and working out. You may be, the pleasing method might be to not go work out and go sit down somewhere and binge on Netflix. But the pleasing result is having the body you want. So you forego the pleasing method to get the pleasing result. That's the common denominator of success. There's more to that book. I encourage you to get a hold of it. I think it will bless you because it has a lot of wisdom in there. And it helps get rid of one of the biggest myths I think people have about successful people. I think a lot of folks think that successful people were born with some kind of gene that gave them the ability to, or maybe they were in the right place at the right time, and maybe there's some of that goes on. But by and large, the common denominator of success is that those people are willing to do what other folks aren't willing to do, and therefore they get that result. So, as I mentioned earlier, the OctagonMethod.com is a place where you can go and get a hold of the information that's going to help you move into that 5% club. And the great thing about it in this day and age, there's so many things that take up our time, so many distractions. It seems like there's not enough hours in the day. But you see what's going on. You see the fact that, things are getting more expensive. And you see that they're going to continue to get more expensive. Well, my friend, you need to have some choices. And the OctagonMethod.com is in place to give you some choices. So I hope you'll go there, take advantage of the free course that's there. I think you're going to be fired up as you go through it. And that being said, I'm going to give you time back to get back to your meal. I hope you enjoyed this Saturday morning power breakfast. We'll be back with you, and be blessed. Go check out the OctagonMethod.com. Think about what you want. Think about what you're willing to do to get there. Think about putting it into action, making time in your calendar for those things. And you, my friend, as you move towards those worthy ideals and goals, you, my friend, are a success. Be blessed. This is Tony Stewart, also known as Blessed Brother, coming at you. Saturday morning power breakfast. Be blessed. We'll see you soon. Bye-bye now.